Hi everybody, it's Kathy here, and we are playing along all month long with Off the Board with Pineapple Papers, and that is Crystal Barrett. She is coordinating this, and today is Tuesday, so that means we are using travel, and I have taken that inspiration from my Pinterest pins, looking out to the aeroplane window, and I'm using that as my guidance with the blues and the smoky blues and the clouds. So I have chosen a Craft paper here that I am cutting down to create my frame, and then I have a chenille paper here, and it's got the clouds in it, and it's a shame that I'm going to cover up a lot of the clouds, but that's okay. And it's the blue theme that is related in that image that I showed you from the beginning. So what I've done is I've cut a 1-inch frame out of my Craft paper because it's also going to be a part of the feature on the front of the layout. And then I am just laying down the cloud paper for my base. So I do this because I like to have a frame around my layouts, and I think it gives it a nice finished edge to whatever I'm working on. So I'm just putting it down, and I'm having a bit of difficulty lining up. This sometimes happens, and that's why I only ever do one side at a time so that I can get a flat layout, not a warped one. So there you go. I have my base, and I'm sorry I had to clear my throat there. I don't like to do that on screen, but I had to. I am now cutting out a square that I am placing to the right, and it's a classic setup, this layout. This layout is just a classic, simple structure that we see over and over, where you have a giant square feature in the middle, and then you have two or three side panels to the side that act as your anchor points. And that's what I'm doing here. And I'm using up some of my branding strips to create those anchor points. So my square here is 8 by 7.5, I think I cut it. And then I'm adding in a strip over here to the left, and that is going to be, I think I cut that 10. Yes, I did. Cut it 10 by 2.5. And then I'm just using those branding strips as anchor points to the side. Now, the dotted one that I'm just placing down now came from a pad, so it had the hole punched in the middle. So I'm just overlapping it, and that won't be affecting it at all, because when I put down the photos, they will cover up that join where it overlaps there. And I have a Vicky Booten branding strip for the left-hand side. So how the Pinterest board excited me or inspired me was by that window frame, and you can see that window frame there on my aeroplane picture. These photos are of my daughter. This was her very first time in an aeroplane. She is very, very motion sick. She can't even be in a car unless she's the driver most of the time because she gets motion sick. So we'd no sooner taken off in the plane than she was asleep, trying to cope with the fact that her stomach was not coping with the movement. So I thought that that was really good, because that ad on Pinterest was also about using essential oils to allow for travel sickness and so forth. So I thought it all ties beautifully for this layout. With my Cricut, I went and cut out Title, Dream, Discover, Travel, and also the embellishments that I'm adding in. So I have the 3 aeroplane cut files, I have the geo tags, and the tickets there. So I just like how the monochromatic feel of this layout emulates that ad that was off my Pinterest board. So I'm just contemplating if I've got it placed in the right spot, and when I am, I'll go off screen and stick it all down. The only thing I just added in was some flowers into the back of those clusters there, so that the tickets weren't just sticking there. I've put in some flowers to soften up the layout, and what I'm doing now is just going around each of the pieces in the layout and using my black marker or black fine marker, I'm outlining each of the strips that I've incorporated into this piece of travel documentation of my daughter's first trip on an aeroplane. So I'm just, like I said, penciling in or going around the edge, and that's defining each of the strips. Now I could have used inking to distress it. I'm going to draw in a messy border here, and that's going to outline the rest of that layout, and it's going to make it pop off that busy little 1/4 inch frame, and it's all going to tie it all together. And that's how the black can get tied in without too much difficulty to your layout. And I do like things that are outlined in black. It just gives it that extra pop or that wow when your eye is looking over your photos. I am now using a white marker or a white fine tip pen, and I'm just adding in highlights on the die cut or the cut files so that they look dimensional, not flat, and also so that they lift them up off that background so that you can see each of the pieces clearly and distinctly. And I do love how this has come together. It was a pretty simple one. It was inspired by that travel frame, and I just love the monochromatic approach of this layout. To finish it off, I'm just going to add in sets of Nuvo drops in 3, and that will set up my visual triangle. I love how this also picks up the yellow in that patterned paper, and it just balances it out nicely. So there's my layout, quick, simple, and came together fantastically. Use Pinterest as a inspiration starting point, and then you can just get creative. Don't forget to check out the playlist down below. There are lots of people playing along this month. I hope to play along a lot this month. I've got 2 weeks of school holidays, so I will definitely be doing a lot more than I normally do. I will try and get inspired off the board like Crystal does, and hopefully inspire you with my layouts. As I said, check out the playlist down below. There are lots of people playing. You will be inspired. Give me a thumbs up if I've done something to earn it. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my content. And happy scrapping till next time. Here's my next video for you.